Hey, Facebook, I apologize for the technical difficulties in the last one. So I have decided to do it again and change it all up. Not change it up, but give you the same thing that I was saying before. This one, I get a lot of questions about shame. With the whole thing with, Dirty Little Secret 1, 2, and 3. It was, I'm trying to help people to get through this. And I got so many questions and so many, what do I do? How do I deal with this? If you're having any kind of issues, and let me just say this, that, pornography is a symptom. It's a symptom of a much bigger, deeper problem, just like alcohol, food, drugs, anything that you're dealing with that becomes a compulsion. A lot of people feel like it's not an addiction. They feel like it's a compulsion. But either way, it's a problem. I want to talk about the problem. So there's deeper issues. And, in my therapy and in my walk, I just want to reiterate, I am not a doctor. I'm not a clergyman. I'm not a preacher. I am not, no kind of therapist. I'm just a friend, basically telling you what I've been through. And if it helps you, I'm thankful. If it doesn't, I get it. Not a problem. You don't have to look. You can unlike whatever you want to do. But this is for the people the thousands and thousands of messages that I got regarding this issue across all social media platforms. This is for you. This lesson or this talk is about shame. Again, shame is something that says that you are bad. It doesn't say you did something bad. It says you are bad. And, the big thing is that when you think you are bad, you can't beat that. You can't get away from that. That's something that, it's kind of like you have a pig and you dress him up and you put him in a suit and the whole thing, and you take him to the Oscars, which was yesterday, and all of a sudden you're like, man, this pig looks pretty good, smells good, does this whole thing. You come home, you wonder, you can't find the pig. Where is the pig? You know what? The pig is out in the mud because the pig knows it's a pig. And the same thing happens when you believe you're bad. When you believe you are bad, you just go right back to the dirt. You go right back into bad things. You go back into bad behavior. But we got to deal with shame. And shame says you are bad. So how do we deal with this stuff? Well, all anxiety, all stress, and shame come from a thing called cognitive dissonance. Now, I had this. What cognitive dissonance is when you have two opposing beliefs in your brain at the same time. Now, I'm telling you, everybody out there, no, I know what I believe. I know there's only one right way. I know the way I think I believe what I believe, and nobody can change it. I understand that. But the problem is you are way more complex than you think. You can have two opposing beliefs in your brain at the same time. I'm going to give you my example. My example for me was that I said I love my wife and I would never hurt her. But at the same time, I was watching pornography and doing the thing that hurt her the most. And I lived this way for the longest. I had two beliefs in my mind. The thing is, I believed I loved my wife, but I also believed I needed pornography to survive. This is what the deal is. And these two things can't survive. The biggest example of all time of cognitive dissonance is right in the United States Constitution. It says all men are created equal. Well, the thing is, the same people who wrote that own slaves. Now, there's lots of ways to deal with cognitive dissonance, these opposing beliefs. There's there's a way what they call adapting to this dissonance. So what the United States did was they just declared that all slaves were just 3/5 of a man. So you're not a real man. You're not a whole man. That way we could say all men are created equal, but that doesn't count slaves. But then they knew they had a problem with that. So another thing you can do is an attitude adjustment. You feel like you get angry at the slaves because every time you see them, they remind you of real men, and you get an attitude and you get angry at them. And in fact, you can get really, really brutal to them because you're dealing with the dissonance that's in your own mind. The whole deal, the fact that you're treating a person this way, you know it's not right. So in fact, you blame them. And you didn't blame it. It says your fault. You slave, you ain't nothing. You ain't this and this and that. You're lazy. You're this and that. And they're doing all the work. And so that's a way to deal with dissonance. Another way is justification. Justification says, oh man, you know what? What would we do without the slave trade? We need the slave trade. All these businesses, all these things would go out of business. We wouldn't be able to build. We need the free labor. We need the money. And all of a sudden, you've justified the slave trade. But this is the problem. There's still, in the Constitution, says all men are created equal. So you have to deal with this dissonance. You have to deal with it. Abraham Lincoln recognized this. And he said, hey, we got to deal with this. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation and basically said all men are free. He dealt with the cognitive dissonance that was in the United States. But it cost him his life. It cost him his life. And this is the deal. This is the way I used to do it. You know, the one way that I did it, when my wife confronted me about certain things, I would deny it. She would catch me, and I would say, well, you know, this is not a problem. It's not me. I mean, I just did it this one time. It's not a big deal. And, this is yucky. I would. And then I would deal with it with attitude, with a behavior kind of thing, where, I could walk around and I would get mad about any little thing that ticked me off. Just any little thing that went wrong, any little deal, any reason I could argue, I would find. And she was like, what's going on? You are angry. What's happening? I'm like, I don't know. You're not doing stuff right. And I would blame her and feel like and this is where the self-pity comes in. And you feel like you need to blame them and it's their fault and you get angry. And I was that guy. That was me. And then the other one is justification. You start to say, well, I need this. What am I going to do? She's not giving me what I want. So, you know what? There's nothing wrong with looking at pornography or looking at this kind of thing. It's something that I need. It relaxes me. It makes me feel good and the whole deal. And the thing is, there's still that cognitive dissonance right there. And until my life fell apart, it had to get straightened out. Because my wife wasn't having it anymore. You have to find out where the cognitive dissonance is happening in your own mind so that you can get your beliefs all lined up the same way. And if you get them lined up the same way, anything that's false has to fall. Because everything gets shown. But you know what? This is the thing. Just like Abraham Lincoln, it might cost you your life. The life that you know, when you let your wife know, and all of a sudden, and this is, again, with counsel, and I tell you to make a plan. I'm not saying go just tell anything, but you need to find a plan and find a way to get help. But once you do, your life is probably going to change, and it may not be good right off. And the thing is that you have to be willing to lose your life, the life that you know, for a new one that's better. And you'll be free. And this is the thing. All freedom costs lives. That's just the truth. If you want to be free of pornography, it'll cost you the life you already been living. You probably have to revamp. You probably have to change. And listen, I had to do it. The life I knew before is gone. The new me is no dissonance. I know where I'm at. This is why I can talk freely, because I know what I believe, and it's all lined up in my head. But there's dissonance all kind of different ways, and I'm always every day trying to find out what is it I believe, because if you can change your beliefs, you change your actions. You don't know why you do the things you do. But this is the deal. You have to think for yourself. No one can tell you. This is where self-discipline comes in, but you have to find out what it is. A lot of men wait for their wives to tell them, and it won't work. And you wonder why you're not free. You wonder why I'll keep going back. I'm good for 3-4 months, but then I go back into drinking. I go back into porn. I go back into overeating. And the deal is that you have to find this cognitive dissonance for yourself. What do you believe about you? Do you believe you're bad? Do you believe this is something you can be, or are you blaming somebody else? Guys, shame comes from this stuff. And as long as you keep shame in your life, you're going to have a problem. And it's funny, and I'm going to put a lot of religion on blast, because it doesn't matter what the religion is. Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, a lot of religion keeps you in shame in order to control you. Because they're not going to tell you you're actually good. No one wants, they're not going to tell you you're good, because as long as you keep thinking you're bad, you'll keep going to church. As long as you keep thinking you're bad, you'll keep going to the meetings. And the deal is that you have to find out for yourself. Everything. You must think for yourself. I've been long enough. It's about 11 minutes and 30 seconds, a little more. But I just want to make sure that you understand my heart and that I want to help people. The new YouTube channel's coming out. I'm at work right now, so I got a little break, but that's why I decided to share this. And it really hit hard with a lot of people. And you know, I told you I'm not going to stop. You know what I mean? It's funny. Some people tell me, hey man, why don't you keep it to yourself? You know what? The funny thing is pornography keep itself to itself? Every time I turn on the computer or you turn on the TV, you get all these images that come shooting at you, and it doesn't keep itself to itself. It's not on some dark corner of the internet. It's right there. Every time, you ever heard of a pop-up? They're right there all the time. And so you know what? We have to keep talking about it. We have to keep sharing about it. This is something we can't sweep under the rug and just act like it's going to disappear, because it's not. It's not. And we have young kids out there. I mean, there's kids messaging me as young as 13, 14 years old saying they got a problem with this. We got to deal with this, y'all. All the way up to 60, 70-year-old men who say they had a problem with this their whole life. I am going to share. I love you. I'm with you, Facebook. And check out my new YouTube channel. It's coming. We're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. It's not all serious, because I'm not serious. I'm happy. I'm good. I am at peace with myself, and I'm at peace with you, because you are going to win. And this is a live broadcast. Live. I don't care. You know what I mean? Mistakes, whatever. I'm putting it all out there. This is my heart for you in regards to anything you need to overcome. Food, drugs, alcohol, porn, whatever it is. This is not about those. These are just the symptoms. And I'm here to help you, because I've been through it. I've been through it. I had a whole paradigm shift. So I love you guys. I'm going to get back to work. This wonderful job that I boldly take over here at Brooklyn 99. And hopefully you check it out when you get a chance. It'll give you a good laugh and relieve your tension. And look, deal with that cognitive dissonance, y'all. I'm with you. I love you. Enjoy it. What's up, world? It's your world. But it's mine, too.